I'm Dan Edwards. I'm a director for Parkour Generations. Parkour Generations is a professional organisation that deals with parkour freerunning in terms of coaching, performance, consulting, facility design, sort of anything around the industry really. Parkour is a discipline of movement and of training the body and mind through applying yourself to environments and overcoming challenges and discovering and exploring your environment really. So it's a discipline of self-improvement through physical and mental training, I guess. Have newcomers come to the classes. We don't really teach them, it's not really a case of teaching them certain techniques or movements. There are no sort of, we don't really consider that parkour has basic movements. It's more a question of developing attributes of movement really, and that's what, those are sort of the basics of parkour. So when a beginner comes, first of all we'll sort of screen them physically and look at how functional their movement is already and their body, how their biomechanics are. And then we'll work from there really. So it's more a case of developing strength, mobility, range of motion, flexibility, speed, precision, touch, those sort of things, you know, in as adaptive way as possible at the beginning. It's been reverse engineered now in that people look back at parkour as a movement-oriented sport at the start, or discipline at the start, and it wasn't. It was about being strong as an individual. And the movement came after when they realised how strong and fit they were, that they could do these jumps. But that wasn't the origin. The origin was just to become strong individuals. So at the beginning it was any task that would challenge themselves physically. So it could be, can you climb this building? Can you carry this rock? Can you run to Paris and back? Yeah. Can you stay out all night? Can you, I don't know, find food in this forest? Whatever. It's just kind of seeing if you can be a sort of functional, strong individual. Then the movement stuff evolved over time and actually really became refined with the second generation of practitioners, with Stefan and those guys. That's when the movements really began to become very refined and very specific. But at the origin of parkour, it was not necessarily about movement.
Yeah, I'm Justin. Been training for about 8 years. Been doing weightlifting for strength training for about 2.5 years. Parkour was like my first sport, like ever really. Like, I mean, I did sort of like when I was younger, I did occasional little bits of like karate and pretending to be a Power Ranger and all this stuff. Like I I pretty much did nothing. Like I was pretty awful at everything. Like I feel pretty awful at most stuff. That's probably one of the most important parts of like that people are forgetting really about parkour strength training is like injury resistance. Like you need that thing where you're doing stuff that is going to make you more resistant to injury. But a lot of people, they have this idea of like, oh, it's this boring thing that like I don't really want to do, and like I don't really want to be sort of getting better at this because it's weightlifting, and they have this whole mentality of like, oh, the gym's it's a bad place and people are arrogant in this. But I think like what you need to think about is like you're setting a standard of understanding your body and understanding its mechanics, like when you do the weightlifting, and you're also strengthening up areas that aren't going to be strengthened from parkour, because like in this. So I think it's just using weightlifting as a means to an end. I did the traditional sort of parkour calisthenics, the sort of stair crawls and As you see, the whole sort of, like when you look at the old videos, and also pretty much when you look at parkour strength and conditioning videos, that's what comes up usually. But I mean, I find that pretty ineffective for me. Like, as with with the frame of reference from then doing weightlifting and doing actual proper strength training, like I find that that progress was much better, and it was also much more quantifiable. I think the evolution of the sport is just understanding movement, and it's being able to move in the way you can. Because I mean, for me, that's where it is for me at the moment. Is like parkour and freerunning are they're the same thing. I mean, if they're not the same thing, they're two halves of the same coin. Like, because really what you want to be is you want to be kind of the best mover that you can. You want to be able to sort of manipulate your body in any way you want in any environment.
I think we've been working towards getting a park for probably the best part of 2 years, but because we never really got anything, we never really got the ball rolling, so we couldn't ever get anything done. And then we eventually got round to talking to the people that own the walks. They're called the Friends of the Walks, and we eventually got them to come round and they let us have a park. But there was a lot of debate, and there was a lot in the Lynn news, on the local news, about why we shouldn't have it, why we should have it. There's a lot of people that still don't really want it there. We originally, the police wanted us to have a park built, and they've always been behind us saying, yeah, we want you to get a park built. But the placement of it was probably the hardest bit to come by. And since the park has been built, we have, like we always said, oh yeah, we won't stop training in town, but since the park's been there, because that's all we need. We don't really have to go anywhere else, which is a bit sad because I do like coming back into town and going on. There's nothing, you can't really beat going on a roof and just, even if you just sit there. But because so many people do already know about the park, we've had people come down from London, Cambridge. I think we've even had people come down from like Lincoln, and they've enjoyed it and they've said that it is a good park. And I think people coming down from that far away is always going to be good because, like I said, you just gel off everybody and learn a lot of different things that you wouldn't normally learn from the people that you train with day in, day out. Evolution and progression, everything's always going to get bigger and better, and people are just going to improve at everything. There could possibly be like a point where things slow down, but it's the same with anything. You can't, I don't think you can ever really kill a sport.